Hello. Welcome to Total Truth Show. We're going to be chatting about the truth about well-being today. My name is Altuney from the Gold Coast in Australia.
And my name is Ken Kleinberg, and I am coming to you all the way from the USA, more specifically San Diego County, California.
Cool. And I'm Jeff Withers, and I'm coming here from good old local Brisbane, up the road from Aldwyn.
And we'll be straight back with the truth about living well right after this short intro.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Total Truth Show, hosted by myself, Ken Kleinberg from San Diego County, California.
And I'm Aldwyn, known as the Media Queen from the Gold Coast in Australia.
And our goal here on this show is to help you to break away from the mainstream media propaganda and lies, the disinformation and misinformation that's out there in the mainstream, and really help you to start questioning everything and start doing the research for yourself. We want to punch through all of that disinformation and misinformation. Our goal here is to raise global consciousness to quantum critical mass and then pave the way for a new awakened civilization. And we would love for you to come along for the ride. Don't take our word for it. The things that we share here on the show, that goes for our guests too. Start doing the research for yourself. Start going and asking the questions for yourself. Get out there and really find the real truth behind things. So with that, let's get started, you guys. Let's dive into today's episode. Once again, welcome.
Yes, welcome. The truth about living well. What a great topic today. I love this. And we are going to be chatting with Jeff Withers, our special guest today. He is the co-creator of the Genius Profile and the three-dimensional wellness flow formula. His vision is to educate and support current and future generations of people seeking a more natural and enlightened way of living, one where they take responsibility for their own wellness by managing their own unique life adventures. His goal is to embrace continued application of time and energy towards learning, researching, developing skills, knowledge, resources, and strategies to help and support others achieve the outcomes they seek. Welcome along, Jeff. And of course, my special co-host here, Ken Kleinberg. Great to have you both here today. So, Jeff, let us know a bit about why living well is so important to you. And has this always been something you've been interested in, or has it been something sort of later in life that you've embraced?
Well, to be fair, I think Aldwyn is probably later in life, to be honest. Like a lot of us, you sort of go through doing what you think you have to do when you're young and you think you're invincible, and then you work out that maybe that's not going to be the case and you have to start rethinking. So in my case, I guess years ago I decided to be a psychologist, for example, because I thought that's how I could change the world. I can learn science and I can help people. But I quickly worked out that that's a great textbook theory, and you need more than that if you want to be helping people in some meaningful way. So my journey personally started from that point, and that was actually a long time ago now. That was back in the early noughties. So I've been around for a long time. So, but having said that, yeah, the journey we're on now is much more recent, and it's come about purely because we, as our partner Marie and myself, we didn't like what we were doing or where we were headed, and we knew that we had to change something. And then we learned, therefore, if we need to do something, maybe somebody else needs to know something too, that we could share our experiences with them, and then perhaps they might take on their own journey. Our role is not to make you change. Our role, as we see it, is to show you something different, and then you decide from there, because we're in charge of our own journeys after all.
Yes, absolutely. And so living well is such a topic, right? And if we think about, all the areas of life, we've got, relationships, health, family, adventures, spiritual, so much in living well in that topic. So when you think about living well, what does it mean to you?
Well, funny is because all those things you just said, and then we discovered this very early in the piece, and like the common myth with Western society is, I've got a problem, who will fix it for me? Simple as that. Who will fix it for me? I'll go to the chemist, I'll go to the doctor, I'll go to a counsellor, I'll go wherever it is. But they don't realise they can do it themselves. So therefore, if you want to live well, you have to take control of every part of your life, not just your health, not just your home environment or where you go to work, but also your relationship with yourself in the first instance. I mean, people talk about relationships with partners. They forget that you can't do that if your relationship with yourself isn't in the right place first. So so what we're saying basically is, I guess, our version, we call it holistic with a W, like whole person, whole body. Because if you don't attend to these things, then somewhere you're not going to get any further. You'll go back where you started from. We actually call them three treasures. Your treasure one is you as a person, your personality, if you want to call it. Your second treasure is your home environment, which is your living surroundings. And your third treasure is your health. And if you don't look after all those three together, looking after one won't suffice. Not long term. It can't sustain long term, which is why there is so much mental health issues and stress issues in the world, because people are not looking after their entire selves.
So true. So true. And particularly the older generation, where they were, taught to believe the doctors, and we were taught to, trust authority. And of course, now a whole lot of lies have come out in all sorts of industries, right? With politics, with health, with just about every industry, there's been a lot of lies that have come from those in authority, right? And so now people losing trust, they're losing faith in others. Although when it comes to health, I must say, like my father, for example, has been in hospital twice in the last month, and he just got some medication from the doctors that he's reacted very badly to. And now he's actually cut out one of the medications, and the other medications he's taking half as much as the doctors have recommended. And I say to my dad, look, you are your own best doctor. You know your body better than anyone else does, right? However, in some ways, he's a bit scared to go off it altogether because he fears he's going to go back into hospital and have other issues. So now he's seeking the heart specialist, because he's got heart issues, seeking a heart specialist to get other advice. And this is what I recommend. Don't just take the first bit of advice you get. Seek multiple people to get advice from, multiple experts, because we don't know it all, and trust your own body. And I know Ken is really big in this health area. I'm sure he's got lots to say on this. So Ken, over to you on this one, some of your transformation with living well. It's been massive for you, hasn't it? And now it's actually your life purpose, isn't it? Part of your mission.
Yes, it is. And it's a huge passion of mine. So not just, so my angle is, one of the biggest angles that I'm very, very, very passionate about is helping others blast through the lies and the disinformation of the health, wellness, and food industry out there. I am so tired of that industry, and I'm so tired of what I see that industry doing to people. And that industry also includes places like the American Heart Association, and all these other things that claim to be giving you advice as far as good health goes, but really, in reality, places like the American Heart Association, well, guess what? It's just a front company. The American Heart Association is actually 80% funded by mostly pharmaceutical companies and the big tech food corporations. And they are as complicit as this. They know very well that the stuff that they put out there is not in the best interest for the American people. They know very well that their information does not help the American people. Money means more to them, so they follow by who is paying them the most money. It's as plain and simple as that. And then you get, excuse me, then you go down to the diets and stuff like that are out there. Honestly, when I speak to you as a client, one thing you will realize about me very quickly. It is a very rare occurrence. I even use the word diet, because I believe that whole concept, that whole way of thinking, that's the trap. That's how they keep you coming back for more. Just like how they modify and make all this synthetic and stuff in food. Like, for example, a really big example is Doritos. That's not even food. It has been engineered and processed to be what it is and taste like it is and all that other stuff. But I don't want to go down that rabbit trail. So anyhow, back to the dieting system out there. It's designed to keep you on a hamster wheel, stuck over and over and over again. You lose the weight, then what happens? You gain it back over time. You lose the weight, then you gain it back over the time. What I'm passionate about is fixing that, giving the real solutions that will help to free you. And I like what Ken Donner just said. There is no such thing as diets. Thank you. Love that. And, you know, thirdly, I am losing more and more hope in the traditional medical system, including doctors. But let me preface this before I say this. I do believe that there are some good doctors out there that are well-intentioned. They just haven't been taught the correct things. Most doctors out there have been taught, oh, you have this issue, we'll take this then. They're not taught how to actually give you the real solutions. They're taught to give you the Band-Aid pharmaceutical medicine that sends you back into the system so that system can make money. And even more so in today's day and age, like the more, like, I'm my mom's caretaker, and I swear the more she comes into contact with the regular medical system out there, the more I want nothing to do with it. And the more I'm trying to steer clear and find holistic people, holistic doctors that will start giving some better and real solutions. So that all is a mouthful for you guys, but that's kind of how I feel about the entire system. So I want to help give people the tools that actually produce long-lasting permanent results in their weight loss and in their health. And having that be, here's the other key, which I'm really passionate about, have that be sustainable. Because if it's not sustainable over the long haul, the real long haul, then it's not going to produce permanent results. It has to be so sustainable and long over the long haul, so much so that the new changes and new habits you're producing, or you are, you know, consistently keeping, then have enough time to become part of who you are up here in the head, so that you change psychologically and mentally. Therefore, when you reach your weight, you are most likely, when you reach your weight goal, you're most likely to stay there because you have literally changed mentally and psychologically into a different person. Physical is one thing. The permanence happens up here.
Yeah, I love that, Ken. And what are your thoughts on what Ken just said there, Jeff, on the area of health, physical health?
Well, I agree. I mean, I am sick to death of hearing about diets, because you're right. They don't work. They never work. They never will work. Don't get me started on pills. That's another story. But in terms of diet, we are very strongly focused on showing people not, and you get all the time, even I won't mention names, but certain, the delivery companies, oh, we have all these vegetables and we have this, we look after you. But the point is, every person is different. Every person has been born with a constitution, a physical constitution that dictates how they will be able to process different things in life. This is not Western science, obviously, because we go a bit further than that. But the point is, you need to be looking, if you want to think of a lifestyle change or a life movement, you need to be thinking about the foods that relate or react with the specific organs in your body. Okay, that's the first step. Certain foods have certain impact and certain benefits for certain organs. So let's look at the food you're eating, not how much or processed or whatever else. Whole foods are always going to be better. Unprocessed is better. Locally sourced is much better. Preparing yourself and not having it delivered to you is even better. Sitting down at a table as a meal, as a family or a grouping is better, because all these things are taking you back to what we would have done in the old days, in the traditional times. How we had times when nobody was obese, nobody had major cancer, etc. issues going on, because they didn't have all this processed food to impact on them. But the point is, it comes back in my mind to, like, if I want to be having a good winter, I need to start preparing my body for it way back before that. It's too late when you get there. So we look at the cycles of the season, what food you're eating at different times of the year, so that I'm eating the right food. So when I get to a season, my body's already prepared. So I'm creating a pattern, long-term pattern. And that pattern is one of prevention from whole body system. Like as Ken said, like what we're taught is the immediate fix, go and get a cure. And it doesn't work, go and get another cure. But if you actually, and yes, there are, as you say, there are doctors, there are need for doctors at certain times. But if you take on board a preventative approach, and you say, if I look after myself the right way, with the right knowledge, then I don't need to go to a doctor unless it's an urgent situation. And I'm educated enough to know what I have to do with my body, because my body is different to yours and yours. So I can do this, but I'm now smart enough to know when I don't know enough. And I'm smart enough to know who I can ask for the proper help.
Yep.
And I think
that's interesting. What's interesting about that, Jeff, is I like the way you put it, asking for the right help. And that's something else that I teach people, very passionate about, is so what I've actually put together for each one of my clients, and every once in a while I'll also give these PDFs away just freely. But I've created PDFs on a few different topics. And in those PDFs, it gives a brief description on what to do with it. And then there are literal links to articles that they now get to go and read from the people that I believe are telling the truth. And let me tell you something, to find these kind of people out there, it's not about a Google search and then just going off the first 2 pages. Hell no, stop doing that. That's the old way of doing things. And, honestly, that's the complicit way of doing things. That's one of the reasons why we are in the situation we are in today, is because people, myself included, got complicit. Now it's time to start, again, developing the habit of asking the hard questions, looking at the data for yourself, doing the research, and taking the time to do the digging to find what is really the right thing out there, as far as food, as far as nutrition, and different things like this. Now, I know Aldwyn kind of disagrees with my views on particular proteins, but I am definitely in favor of more of an animal-based proteins. And honestly, that's simply because of the deep research that I've done and the hours and hours I have spent doing that research, and coming to the conclusion that yes, red meats are extremely, extremely nutritious for you. 100%. They are not only satiating, which is important when you're losing weight. Satiation is very, very important. They're very satiating. They have a ton of different nutrients. One in particular that only can be found in red meat is something that's called heme iron. And heme iron is a very unique type of iron. Having it be heme iron, it's very easily absorbed into your system. When you try to get iron from more of a plant-based routine or different things like that, that kind of an iron, it's very hard for your body to absorb. So that's just an example. And what I mean by red meats are extremely nutritious and nutrition dense. And so, it's, providing, I just say that as an example, providing that information, but then just not only providing it, helping my clients then go and look at the articles I've looked at myself and now do their research, because a lot of those articles have links to other articles, which, one of the last clients I worked with, she's always thanking me for the stuff that I gave her. She is still digging and doing research based off of what the recommendations and stuff that I've provided for her. So that's just, yeah.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because if, sorry, Aldwyn, I didn't mean to jump in, but
no, go ahead.
when you talk about like red meats, and I respect people's, different tastes in foods and everything, but it's interesting, and it might sound a bit sort of maybe not comfortable conversation, but if you go and research traditional cultures and see what they ate in terms of red meat, you would see they weren't just eating meat. They were going for the blood source. And by that I'm saying, for example, there are tribes in Africa who would, and this sounds cruel, but I'm going to say it because it's a fact. Okay, so I apologize in advance, but they actually have process. They kill was it orangutans or monkeys, whatever it is. I forget the actual type. But it wasn't because they wanted to kill them, because like the white people do, they wanted the blood source, right? And they took that because that was their protein. That was what kept them so healthy and lean. Another tribe would actually, they have cows and they respect the cows and their beef beautifully, but they would simply bleed the animal a little bit to get the blood without hurting the animal. So this is not a new thing. This has been around for a long time, because traditional societies don't have the sorts of fats we use to cook food in. They don't use things like microwaves, which destroy the structure of food.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So this is an add-on to what you're saying, because it's not just that, it just keeps on going. The things that we've been shown as a culture over time, we are so lost from the basic, simple living.
Like, here's another example. I'm sorry, Aldwyn. I know you keep trying to.
Yeah, because
after I say this statement, I'll point back to you. Sorry,
I'd love to say something. Yes.
Here's just another interesting thing. So, the concept of breakfast. Where do you think that came from? Is it scientific? Is it based out of science? And obviously, I'm being sarcastic with the words I'm using right now. But where's the evidence for it? The truth is this is how lost we've been. The whole concept of breakfast, the concept of eating your first meal of the day and getting that in right away. Oh, it starts everything up. It's so great for you and all this other stuff and blah, 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 blah. There is no scientific basis for it. There is no evidential proof that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Where did it come from then? I'm going to tell you, cereal companies develop that concept so they can sell more of their cereal. Follow the money, people.
It also comes from, it's a different side to that too. If you look at the Eastern version of Chinese medicine version of the body clock, and it suggests certain times where the organs are functioning for certain reasons. And by sheer coincidence, it is that time frame, a certain time in the morning where the stomach, etc., are doing their work and they need digestion. But it also tells you how they need to rest, so it doesn't overstress. And it tells you when not to eat as well, not just in the morning, but different times of the evening. So the body clock would suggest, in terms of what you're saying there, as to when, therefore, is the right time to eat and why am I doing it?
Yes.
As opposed to other things, so it's a combination of so many things. It's not just one thing, is it? And that's what I like about this concept of holism with ability. It's a whole range of things that come together. A lot of learning to be done.
And Aldwyn, so pop in and go.
Sorry, Aldwyn. Sorry about that.
Yes, so it's great to hear opinions, and everyone will have their own opinions on all of this. It's not to say one's right or wrong. Do your own research, of course, and don't just trust Google. As Ken said, you might want to go to DuckDuckGo or other search engines, because Google, we know, has a lot of sensitive information and a lot of other agendas going on behind the people behind Google, right, as well. So do your own research there. So now breakfast, let's just look at breakfast. Breakfast also says break fast, right? Break the fast.
Yes, that's what it's supposed to be. Break fast.
That's what it is. Yeah, exactly right.
Break the fast. And now I've been doing intermittent fasting, which I have found fantastic to boost my metabolism. I know a lot of people are raving about intermittent fasting. So I actually don't eat now until after lunchtime, until after 12. I'll have water and I'll have black coffee in the morning. I like my black coffee, and I know there's different reports about that as well. And it's not instant coffee. It's plunger coffee. I like the good coffee, because a lot of instant coffee also has pesticides and a lot of rubbish in it, and that's why you get that metallic taste in your mouth after instant coffee. So I do not do instant coffee unless I'm absolutely desperate, and even then, every time I do it, I regret it and I can never finish the cup because it's so disgusting. So but it's only under desperate circumstances. So that's my bit about that, about breaking the fast. Now, the other thing about eating meat, now there's a lot of very healthy vegans out there that have at the same time, right? So while there might be nutritional benefits in red meat and in white meat, etc., there's also a lot of very healthy vegans, right? And in fact, some of the strongest animals on the planet are also vegan. They don't eat meat, right? So it's not to say that that meat is for everybody. Like I'm 99% vegetarian, and I must say, I kind of get irked by the thought of eating a big steak. Like that really irks me. When I do eat meat, it's usually tiny bits of meat that actually don't look like meat. And I really don't like, for me personally, I find meat very heavy on my body. And I am an A type, A blood type. Now there's the blood type diet. There's that blood type diet. Now I have noticed that when I've eaten more according to my blood type, certain types of foods they say are better for certain types of blood types. So O blood types apparently need more meat for energy, whereas A blood types are people who work better with vegetables and with fruits, etc. So most of what I eat is salads, mostly raw food. And the other thing is that the quickest food, the fastest food on the planet is food we can just go to the garden and we can pick. We can pick an orange from the tree or pick an apple, or we can get celery from. That's the fastest food around. Yet we have this whole fast food thing that we go through drive-throughs for fast food, which is absolute crap. It's got nothing good in it for you, a lot of these fast food outlets. And so many people get addicted on fast food and food in packets with all the MSG and all the additives in a lot of this fast food. So people are eating and eating and eating, and yet they're not feeling satiated. They're not feeling fulfilled with a lot of food that we're getting through supermarkets. So anything in a packet in general, you're going to have some crap in it, okay, in general. So the more you can eat natural according to what we have around us, the better, right? That's my opinion on that. And that's when, and notice what feels better for you, right?
Yes, exactly.
We're all
There is
different,
no one size fits all. You know, and that's one of the things that I also share in my own programs. Like, you know, people often ask me, they're like, well, what does it look like, you know, to be, you know, to be a client of yours and stuff like that. And I mean, they're looking for my system. I mean, I have a base foundation that I start everybody at, and that is a base foundation. But as far as after that, everything is customized per person because there is no one size fits all. That's one of the reasons why the name of my program is Mastery Weight Loss. It's not paleo. It's not keto. It's not the Atkins diet. It's not any of these others. Do I support certain beliefs and philosophies of those particular programs? Yes. Let's just put it this way. I take pieces from over here, over here, over here, go, okay, yep, that, and I'll take that, and I'll take that. And I have formed my philosophy and my way of doing things around those pieces. Am I a diet? No.
But that's a holistic approach again, isn't it? The holistic approach to everything is to take from wherever you need to make it, you know, a piece of information or whatever it is that works for that person. Definitely right. That's exactly how I think it should be done. You know, but people don't do it, do they? Because they're lazy or because they haven't got time, as they say. Therefore, it's quick and easy, as Aldwyn said, to go and get something prepared. But ultimately, even, you know, I mean, even the fruit. I mean, if I look at the fruit, where's it coming from? Is it coming from local, or is it coming from interstate? Is it coming from overseas? And the longer it's in a refrigeration situation, the more it's losing its nutritional value, et cetera, et cetera. So if you can get something from your backyard, you're always going to be better off.
Oh, yes.
Simple.
Oh,
There's no question about that. You know, but it's how you treat food, how do you prepare it is also very important. A lot of grains and beans, they should be soaked for a certain amount of time first for different reasons I won't go into, but there's a reason why they're soaked and so on. So there's a whole lot of, you know, it's like I said, it's not an easy topic, is it? Because everyone's been so conditioned to, I go on a diet or I eat what my nutritionists tell me. They haven't realized the bigger picture.
Yeah, they all want the quick fixes, and that's the thing. I recently actually put out, it was a couple months ago I put this reel out, but I put out a real short reel. Most people know what reels are nowadays. Basically talking about how diets are literally very close to the concept of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and over and over again and expecting different results. Why in the world would you want to lose weight before a wedding, to go through all of that work before a wedding? And I'm mentioning wedding because it's the common thing. You know, oh, I got to lose X amount of pounds to fit into this outfit or dress. Okay, that's like the most common thing. So, but why in the world? And that's all good. That's great to have that goal. Wonderful. Great. But why in the world do all of that work, go through all of that effort to lose that weight, then to have the wedding, to fit into that dress or outfit, and go on after that like nothing ever happened and gain the weight back, and then have to be faced with the same thing again at a different time. Why put yourself through all of that? It doesn't make sense to go through all of that work and then not have it produce more long lasting and permanent results. If you're going to lose the weight for a wedding, awesome. Great. Look great in the dress, look great in the outfit. But for Lord sanity's sake, do it in a sustainable way to where once the wedding's done, you've changed mentally and psychologically, so you then continue on in your life and you keep that weight off for Lord's sake.
Yeah, and that's the thing we talk about. That's why I said before about the three treasures, because that's the very point. They're focused on that. Now, there's two things. Firstly, well, it was done for me. I cannot, if it happens again, I'll go to that person and help me again. But more importantly, if you haven't changed what's around you in life, of course it's going to go backwards where you came from. You haven't changed anything. Like you get a tyre fixed in your car, you get the tyre pumped up, but you didn't change the valve. Chances are it's going to go down in a week because you didn't do the thing that you needed to do in the first place. So I totally agree with you. If you're going to do that trouble, that work, it's a lot of work, do something to make sure it stays. Simple as that, which means changing some part of your life around you that's going to make a difference long term.
And most people yo-yo diet, right? They gain 10 kilos, lose 10 kilos. So it's like, or like 10% either side is usually how it goes. And then now, of course, in Australia, we're coming up to summer. And so now, of course, everyone's thinking, well, I want to lose the weight to get into the bikini. But of course, then what happens here in December is Christmas. And what happens around Christmas time? A lot of eating, just like at weddings, right? Although the Christmas festive season goes for about a month in Australia where people are just eating and drinking a lot. And yet they want to lose weight to fit into their bikinis, right? Well, good luck with that one.
Here's the other thing with holidays. Check this out. You ever wonder why with each one of the holidays we have, it's just kind of like one of those moments. But have you ever wondered why, or have you ever noticed how each one of these holidays, it's sugar is like the center of it. And it's not just sugar. You've got this candy that's out. You've got these chocolates that are out, and they're red, they're green, they're yellow, they're blue, they're whatever color they are. And guess what? So that's now food dyes going into your body. That's, all these chemicals, the sugar and sugar. But why is it all pretty much every major holiday we have is centered around this sugar fetish? Ever wonder that? Isn't that just interesting?
Yes.
And that is salt. Yeah. That and salt.
How sugar kills just about everything, right?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Jeff, over to you.
No, you're right. Sugar and salt, the two big killers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes, salt is in just about everything too. And then, some people say, well, sea salt's okay, right? What are your thoughts on that?
It's much better.
Sea salt. So I've recently ran into a couple of things regarding sea salt and the salt topic. So I don't necessarily buy into this low sodium stuff that people are selling out there. I think sodium is actually good for your body, very much so. It's just what kind of sodium are you getting? That's the key question. Now, the two salts that I use is pink Himalayan salt. And then a newer one that I have been hearing a lot about, which I actually just got a bag of it today on Amazon, so it'll be here in a couple of days. I don't know how you pronounce it, so it's either Celtic salt or Celtic salt.
I was going to say, actually, it's Celtic sea salt. That's what we use. It is the pinnacle. It is
beautiful. So I have heard so many people brag about it.
Love it. Yeah.
And there are so many excellent minerals in that salt. So I finally got myself a bag of it today, so it'll be coming in the next couple of days. Yes. But that's just another interesting thing. Water. We are supposed to get in a decent amount of water each day, aren't we? But what happens if I'm just getting in the water without the electrolytes? Your body is not necessarily absorbing that water correctly. There are people that go into the hospital suffering of dehydration that drink plenty of water. Why are they suffering of dehydration? It's because they're not also getting in enough electrolytes. This is why for my gym water, the bottle of water that I bring to the gym, which is usually a gallon jug thingy, I will shake some pink Himalayan sea salt in there for minerals, because I also filter my water. So this goes through reverse osmosis. And if you know anything about reverse osmosis, it strips water of everything. So I've got to put some minerals back in. So that's where, and then that's where the Celtic salt is now coming in, because I have heard from and read from trusted sources that I follow. And I've started seeing it a lot, this Celtic salt. And so I'm like, okay, so that's actually better than the pink Himalayan salt. So now I want that.
Yeah, miles better. Yeah. As you think too with water, one thing apart from that too, filtration is important, obviously, but also people are very good at this desire to have to drink really cold water. And cold water is not good for your stomach. It doesn't like it. It likes room temperature water, simple as that. So even that's a little thing that people don't realize. You know, what is the temperature of the water you're drinking? So that'll make a difference too. So
I've also heard the same thing as studies and different people talking about how damaging ice water is actually for you, especially right before a meal. If you're consuming it with your meal or right before your meal, that's horrible for digestion.
So it's drinking water during the meal, but we will do it that way. But you shouldn't be drinking water while you're digesting. You know, the food has a job to do. It starts in the mouth, and then the saliva is part of the digestion process, and it follows down through into the stomach, through the spleen. The spleen is very, very highly responsible for the distribution of the elements of the food into the parts of the body that's needed. So it doesn't want to be disrupted by things that's going to make it cringe. It needs to be given, you know, what it needs so it can do its job. Simple as that. And this is about organ health.
So you can have the flow through the body, right? So interesting, we should have room temperature water, and we should be having cold showers, right? Cold showers apparently are very good for us to wake us up, or ice baths. A lot of people getting into ice baths to boost the metabolism.
Yeah, combination of both, hot and cold. But I mean, I'm not a big fan of ice baths because I don't feel comfortable, but I know they work.
That's one of those areas I have not ventured out in. Like I hear from again, all the trusted people that I follow, just how beneficial it is and everything else. And I'm like, I'm not at that stage of extremes yet. So I think I'm going to hold off on that.
There are actually hydro bars they're using over, and I noticed a lot of the team Matildas here in Australia, the women's football team, recently, as an example, they use like a sort of a hydro bath for regeneration of muscle strength, for get rid of tiredness and stress out of the muscles. So that's not ice cold, but it's cold, and there's ice in it. But they're also adding certain things, you know, that helps the muscles literally relax and repair. So there's combinations of things. You wouldn't drink that, obviously, but instead of going into a straight ice bath or jumping in the, you know, in the ice in the North Pole, it's something really extreme, stupid. Have the ice, but have it in a reasonable state with other elements that will benefit the body at the same time. And be mindful of how long you're drinking.
There's places you can go. There's a place called Soak here on the Gold Coast. Places you can go where you can have, you know, in the one location you can hop in the pool. You can have you can have a steam, go in the steam room, have a sauna. You can hop in a spa, you know, and there's hot, cold water therapy, etc. So, you know, whatever works best for you. Some people are loving the float tanks. They're loving the floating in the magnesium, etc. in the float tanks. Personally, I love the ocean myself. I think that's one of the best healers of all time. One of the best ways to live well is actually to get yourself in the ocean and to ground yourself and get barefoot on the grass or on the sand and ground yourself, because often so many of us are so much at our devices. We're so, you know, so plugged into technology but not plugged into nature, and the more we can plug into nature and separate ourselves, I think it's really important for those who have, you know, busy.
Yeah, it's good. That's a very common thing we use in Chinese medicine is a sense of grounding, be it on grass or on sand or dirt, anything really. But there's a Japanese version which is really cool too, and it's now scientifically proven, and that is to hug a tree. Right? Is taking but the thing is, the tree has certain chemicals in it which are very beneficial for the human body for relaxation and de-stressing. So it's not just the fact that hugging a tree. Pardon? Any kind of tree, yeah.
Interesting.
And they actually
Hug a
call it
tree?
forest walking. Yeah, forest walking or tree hugging, call it what you like, or forest bathing. The terms are interchangeable, but the point is, and guess what? You're not inside a building, you're back in nature, and you're hugging something or you're standing on something and you're connecting. Because don't forget, the earth is a charge of electricity that you're connecting to, and it's like a lightning rod. When you stand barefooted, you're connecting, you're grounding yourself literally as you would a lightning rod for a house. There's no tricks involved. You're connecting to a source of energy which you're a part of. Of course, you're going to feel more relaxed and more grounded, literally. Yeah, if you want to relax, literally go for a walk. Doesn't have to be a thick forest, just any sort of wooded area. If you can't do that, just walk in the grass in the backyard. Anywhere where you can get in touch. I hate saying with nature, because nature's everywhere anyway. Nature is what's around us. But to get out in the vegetation and away from the man-made product, you're immediately going to start getting benefits. And you're going to feel better.
I love that. And in fact, I was hugging a tree just on the weekend, actually. I hugged a tree. I was having a bit of fun with some girlfriends. And I went and hugged this tree. It was this massive tree, and I just connected with this tree in Coolangatta, which is really cool. But I find also when I connect with my cat, like in the morning, my cat comes and walks on me and wakes me up, usually at sunrise. It's like my cat says, right, the sun's up, time to get up and feed me, right? And sometimes you'll just rest on my chest and I'll just connect with my cat in the morning. And that's a beautiful way. It's like a meditation. In fact, I did it this morning. I played some meditation, some guided meditations, and connected with my cat, which was just a lovely thing. And I guess that would be like connecting with nature as well. Animals are part of nature, and that animals are really present in the moment.
Well, this is an example, so I'll jump in there. One is cats. I don't believe this, but at the same time, it's interesting research. It says the cat is very aware of the stress of the person. And the reason they would get on your chest and sit with you is to help you relax and come out of that space. So if a cat's with you all the time, it means it knows that you've got some stress to get rid of. But whether that's true or not, but the scientific improvement point is when it comes to horses are being used in therapy now. And the reason is quite simple, because, in Chinese medicine, we've known this for a long time in terms of the heart energy. But now science has now proved through the Heart and Mouth Institute that there's electromagnetic force coming from the heart, and it connects with people, which is why you can walk into a room and suddenly, I don't like you, I like you. This is that connection. Now, the horse has a heart 6 times larger than a human. All right, so you can imagine the power of that horse vibe, and the horses are extremely beneficial for people who have got an illness or something, or disability, or stress, or whatever. They connect, and the horses have this amazing ability to help a human recenter themselves. So you find more and more that's happening now, whether it's this horse therapy, if you want to call it that, is going on. And again, it is actually scientifically proven now. They've actually shown the connection between the heart energy between people and animals. These are things which are they're not emerging from you. They've been there forever. It's just we're starting to discover them again.
So, it's interesting about go ahead, Aldwyn. I talk too much anyhow.
Equine therapy. We've all got lots to say on this topic about living well today, which is awesome. So the heart is actually 5,000 times more powerful than the mind energetically, right? So that's amazing. I didn't know that the horse's heart was 6 times bigger than a human heart. However, I know a lot of people doing horse whispering and doing healing sessions with horses, and I can see now why that is so powerful. So yeah, that's really beautiful. Yes, Ken, what were you going to say? Over to you.
Thank you. So, the other interesting thing, kind of back to talking about grounding and the energy. So, just within, I think, the last year to 2 years, on my path of awakening, if you will, I never realized how energetic the body is. And it literally, I don't know how long ago it was, but I was unplugging my headphone jack here from the external computer speakers that I have. When I unplugged it from the computer, and then the metal part touched the skin of my hand on this hand, it started buzzing. And I never thought about this before. I've never realized this before. It never really occurred to me. It just never made the connection. But over the last couple of years, on my path of awakening and paying attention to more energies and frequencies and stuff like that. That particular time when that happened and I heard that buzz triggered a thought inside my head that's just like, you know what that buzz is? That's electricity. There's electricity in my hand. There's electricity in my body. My body is producing electric energy.
Absolutely.
And, but it's just when at that particular point, I just feel like it really, really, really sunk in. I was like, oh, wow. Okay. So now this even makes more sense with so many people that are saying the importance of grounding, the importance of, the frequencies, the importance of the energy level that we have as far as the frequency of it and different things like that. It just started to all really sink in. When before it was kind of like one of those afterthoughts in the back of your head. You're like, oh yeah, I know that's out there. But only with
I would actually change the wording a bit there. I'd suggest something. We keep using the word energy. What I thought we're talking about really is vitality or the health of our mitochondria. Energy is a different thing. And you talk about electricity and energy forces. That's energy. So some other people, they confuse the two terms. But what we often show to people, and something that you might resonate with, is that we suggest in your bedroom that you don't have mobile phones in there turned on. You don't have a TV. In fact, you have no appliance because you're there to sleep. And in fact, if you want to be serious about it, you should actually unplug your modem, et cetera, because the house is buzzing electricity all night long and you're trying to sleep.
The unfortunate thing about that is what happens when you're in a place where you have no choice. Your office is in your bedroom because there's no other room.
Your office shouldn't be in the bedroom. That's a very bad feng shui thing. Having an office in the bedroom is a very, very challenging thing for most people, even though they don't realize it up front. It can cause a lot of conflict.
So I mean, it's like, okay, I really have no choice. So this is just the way I've got to do it, But one of the things that I have done, so I have made some other adjustments. And there's a company that I bought a few little trinkets and devices off of. And I decided to go with this particular company. And I don't remember the exact name of it. I think it's Aries or something like that. But where you can get these pendants. And I have one on my phone. So it says you may have seen this being advertised around. So what this does is this does not block the EMF frequencies from my body. What this does is it makes the EMF frequencies compatible with my body. So, and then I also got one for my phone. So you can see this little circle there. So, I mean, I've done little things like that so that, when I am in my room and I'm sleeping, it's less of a concern for me having my electronics and stuff like that here. I also have a grounding mat underneath my desk. So little things like that you can do when you have no choice. And by the way, the two little trinket things that I purchased, they are a little pricey, but it's well worth it, especially for the peace of mind knowing that no matter what you're around or where you're at, the frequencies that are hitting your body are then being made compatible with your own body's energy. So just wanted to preface that, but yeah.
The one I'm wearing is actually blocks those things, literally blocks it. And they didn't, when I was skeptical, and when I was shown this, and they did a test with me, I won't go into it, and it just blew my mind, the difference wearing it or not wearing it made. And I thought, ooh. So particularly like right now, I'm in front of the computer, so it's blocking that energy coming from the computer. And you do feel the difference. You're the same. You can actually physically feel the difference in terms of
yes, you can. Yeah. One of the reasons why I chose to go with this particular company, and again, because I was very skeptical of stuff like this out there. Very, very skeptical. This does not look like it does anything. This looks like a toy. This looks like a decoration, to be honest with you. I mean, the copper wiring and the designing here, that is impressive, but I was very skeptical. It wasn't until I started reading through the site that I went through. One, they've got peer reviewed studies and different things like that on the site, which I was just like, okay, peer reviewed, that's a target word. Okay, great. And then I began seeing, there's another person, a very big influencer that I follow from time to time. I don't follow a lot of his stuff because he tends to be a little too extreme for me, but he is one of the people speaking truth out there that I do follow, and it's Ben Greenfield. I'm probably sure you've heard of him. He was promoting their product. He's actually on their site. And so I was like, okay, this guy is also saying good stuff about it. So that's why I decided to jump aboard and do that. It's because I, peer reviewed studies, and, Ben Greenfield is, promoting them. So I was like, all right, sold,
Yeah, I get it. Trust factor.
I want to mention, I love that you've got some things to help with the anti-radiation. Something that I've used, and I must say I haven't got it on at the moment, or there's times where I'll wear it. It's actually just reminding me to actually keep it nearby, even if I'm not wearing it, to keep it nearby would really help. So one thing that I've got is the Tesla. I've got Tesla phone tags and Tesla necklace, and you can also get car tags. You can get them connected in other parts of the house. You can get all sorts of plates, these Tesla tags. And what Tesla does is TESLA. It alters the chaotic electromagnetic radiation pattern that transmits from the antenna of your mobile phone, and it actually changes it biologically so it becomes harmonious to the user and anyone nearby as well. So that's the Tesla tag. And then also another thing is shungite. And I actually have a little bit of shungite here on my little Wonder Woman. This is the bit of shungite, which I have right next to my computer. So shungite is actually a crystal that's anti-radiation. It's an actual mineral from the Russian region of Karelia, and it purifies water. It protects from harmful EMF and boosts your energy and relieves stress. So crystals can be good. Shungite can be good too. And I got that from a crystal shop where I actually went in and said, what can help with radiation? Because of now, of course, we have 5G towers everywhere as well, right? So, even if you, whether or not you have your Wi-Fi signals coming into your bedroom, the basic fact is anywhere we go, it's everywhere, right? We've got 5G towers and we've got radiation all over the place. So anything you can do to protect yourself, I think, would be great.
Yeah.
So Jeff, I'm curious about your 3-dimensional wellness flow formula. If you could share a bit about that, your 3D wellness flow formula, and then also I want to talk about your 9-pillar lifestyle. If you can outline that as well.
Oh, how much time do we have?
Maybe just a summary. Maybe we start with 3D wellness flow.
Well, the wellness formula, that's something that's evolved over time through our studies and putting things together, because I'm one of these people that I like to read, but I like to take people's ideas and create something from that, because I don't think there's any point just going through life repeating what someone else has already said. I think if you're going to be making a difference, you've got to add value. So the idea of the formula to me is that there are 3 areas. Now, the first area, if I start from the big picture working back in, let's say. So we have basically, I think it's about 9/2, with 18 well-being areas in our world that we have to be addressing every day. So it's the first part of the formula is to know there's a base of life we're living in, and we need to be aware of those things which may not appear to be partly connected to your health and wellness, but they are, even financial. There are things that are affecting you. So going from that, there also, therefore, there are things which impact on those well-beings, like your age, your culture, your educational background. So we have to look at those things. But then on the other side of the fence, there's the 9 pillars. I can bring them into the same place. The 9 pillars are your foundational elemental base as a person. Okay, so there are 9 areas we've identified that you must be aware of in life. I shouldn't use the word must, but it would be nice to be aware of and to prosper with. So, for example, the consequentially building, the first at the bottom says, okay, who are we as a person? Who are we when we're born? And therefore, what do we bring into this world? A combination of the genetics of the parents, the health of the mother during gestational period, the energy, the breath you take, first breath as an independent human being. These all impact on the sort of person you can become. All right? And we call that your natal genius, which is the very first area of those pillars, your natal genius. Something which is forgotten within seconds, unfortunately, because from that moment on, you're being impacted by what's around you. So you started to go up the ladder, we're getting involved with learned behaviours, modelled behaviours, external influences. So these are things which we have to deal with in life. So that we're starting to build this pattern. After that, we can then look at, in general terms, what are our values? What are our passions? Where do they come from? How do we control them? How do we grow them? What's our environment we're living in? Because again, we're living in a home, in a workplace, in a physical larger surrounding. What are we doing about how we're showing up in these places? And then from there, up to how's our well-being connecting to all these things? So going backwards, how's it connected to who we were born as? How is it connected to who we've become? How is it working for us in terms of what we value and have values of in life? How is that being manifested in terms of the world we're living in? Which all leads to a concept of longevity and clarity in life. What's your purpose? Now, people, when they're younger, and we all did it, I'm sure, we didn't think about purpose, most of us. We just thought about living life because we're here forever. Nothing's ever going to change. But as you get older, you start to become more mindful of the fact that you're not here forever. And we like to do something which says, when we go, we've made a difference in some way that's going to be remembered and it's going to be of use. So that's something which it should be addressed more early in life as part of your pillars. Who are you? What have you done? What have you come here to do? What are you doing right now that's making a positive difference to somebody else? So these 9 pillars are really foundation behind how you live your life, right? So without going into the depth of them, but these 9 pillars are what then converts into your 3 treasures, which are, like I said, your lifestyle, your home and environment, your health and well-being. Like any treasure, if you don't look after it, it's just going to deplete and wear away. All right? If you overuse it, it's going to deplete and go away. But if you nurture it, grow it, invest in it, it's going to grow with you and give you support. So the whole idea of this formula is that we need to look at all these areas. We need to look at the pillars, the treasures. We need to look at your natal genius, your manifested genius, the well-being meridians that you're living in life with right now. What impacts those things? Now, the concept at the end is we're looking at holistic wellness. That's the outcome you're looking for. Nobody, including all 4 of us here right now, or 3 of us, not only 3, I'm not the 4th, 3, none of us will ever get it right. And I challenge anyone that says they do, because the moment you say, I've got this worked out and I'm right, is the moment you stop living. Right? Our journey is to keep on learning and growing and to find out something new, something that works for us. And as you do, that's part of your health journey, is to not accept what was, but to embrace what could be. And so if you think this formula, the concept of the formula, it's not a mathematical formula, it's a formula that says we need to identify the parts of our life. We need to be able to put them into a package that says we need to be able to understand them. And I just say need to understand them, not just be nice to you. You need to understand them so you can choose what you do with them in life. Okay, and we also have to look at the fact that how are we approaching this? So we're looking at from, the typical way I said before, Aldwyn with the, or Ken with the mind. The mind's a powerful thing. The mind is a processor. It's the receptor. Right? The heart is very powerful. The stomach's even more powerful. The stomach delivers more messages upwards to the brain than the brain can ever think of delivering downwards to the stomach. So again, be aware of this. How's that causing reaction? Understand the person you were born as, because everyone will have we are different, but we come in with a certain base. How is that going to affect us? Because we can't follow what you said or you said because you're not us. You're not me. Right? So I don't know if that's making sense, but I'm going all over the circles here, but the whole concept is there's not a simple solution. There is a holistic approach that says, understand who we are, understand where we're living, why we're living, and then appreciate the fact that we can have control over that through choices. And choices come from knowledge. Choices come from learning and from getting out of your own road and asking questions, not Dr. Google. Never ask Dr. Google. You get the answer you deserve. Like you say, go and find the people who are doing it or who can show you the way to go. Our mentors, Marie's mentors and my mentors, are such people. These are amazing people that the average public's never heard of. But their learnings and their experiences, you sit back thinking, oh my God, I wish I knew that before. I wish I'd done that earlier. And these are the people we need to be connecting with, not the pharmaceutical companies, but the people who can actually give us the insight that was always was there. All right? Because we're not unique in the sense that we're part of nature. We're not separate to nature. So why stop living separate to nature? Let's embrace that formula and say we're part of a larger cosmic energy, literally. And that's a scientific fact. So instead of trying to go away from it, why don't we go towards it and say, let's have a look at how we can live. We like our technology, but where can we embrace our natural selves so that we have a better life throughout, end up in a better place at the finish? So does that make sense? Or have I
I love that. And so, yeah, it does. It's awesome. And so what are some ways that you keep these pillars real for you on a day-to-day basis? Like, do you have a morning practice? Do you have like a way that you keep this real and keep this, because it's the practice, right? With all these things, you know, the pillars, wellness, etc. It's not something where it's kind of like getting organized, you know, like people go, I want to get organized, and they might get organized for a day, but unless you keep it up, you're not going to stay organized. Right, you're not going to stay healthy unless you keep it up, because you keep the practice. So what are some of your practices, Jeff, where you keep this alive every day for yourself?
Well, there's two things we do. It might sound really silly. You know, if you've met Marie, so you know what I'm talking about there, Aldwyn. We make a practice of every morning we will sit and we will talk, and we just talk, and we chat, and we talk, and we let the conversation go where it is, because we're not trying to stifle. And that's the thing. People are so caught up in what they think they have to do or say. Let the mind be free. Let it go play. Just let it play. Let it have a good time. If you don't like the thought, change it. If you want to investigate it, do it. Right. That's the first thing I say to people: get away out of your own way and stop. You know, even to put a form of practice in place is a block in its own way. If you make, I don't do it today. I'm missing out. I better do it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. But when you want to do it, do it. So that's the first thing I say. The second thing is I'm with Ken in the sense that it's long-term, lifelong learning, right? Get your head out of the sand and realize that, I'm sorry, science is amazing, but science is an extension of alchemy. And alchemy was a lot different of what they think it is. So let's realize that science is doing the best it can. Science is investigating as it goes, right? But use your intuition, use your ancestral history, and realize, like you said earlier, Aldwyn, that you know what's right. So go find it. Do the research. Now, Maria and I, in the last 5 years, we've gone right through traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurveda, Taoism, Feng Shui, etc., basic psychology, now back here. And we didn't do it because we got a list of achievements. We did it because we wanted to find out the best of everything we could and discover what didn't work for us. I mean, what works for us might not work for you guys or anyone else out there. So you've got to find your own thing. And they're your 9 pillars. Go find what those are for you. And if you know what they are for you, you're now able to do what you want to do. And it doesn't matter what other people think. It's not their journey, it's yours. So you need to say, and Ken, for example, has done that very thing, right? He's decided things, and it doesn't matter if the two of us say, oh, Ken, I don't like that, or not. It doesn't matter, right? Because that's Ken's journey. That's Ken's pillars. That's Ken's treasures to play with. Mm-hmm. You know, our meridians might be similar. We might live in the same places, but our journey is totally our own. And if we don't embrace that, we're always forever going to be at the mercy of what I call third-partyism. Somebody else will do it for me. Somebody will fix me. Someone will take care of the problem for me. Right? That's rubbish. Take care of your own problem, because you are your own problem.
Trust yourself.
100%. And Aldwyn, were you going to say something?
Yeah, well, I wanted to say in line with that, like the wheel of life is something that I often do every few months or so. I'll relook at my wheel of life and I'll rate myself out of 10 as to how I'm performing in the areas of health and relationships and business and finance and all those things. And you know, you're never going to have a 10 out of 10 with everything. And often when you work more on one area, something else might give a little bit, right? So there's always this ebb and flow. However, I'm happy to report that when I've done it the last few times, it's been around the 8.75 to 9.25, around that rating that I give myself across all areas of life. So I think I'm doing okay, right? And it's always a little bit of ebb and flow. So I think also being, being good with yourself, because I find often as a high achiever, often I feel like there's always more to do, right? And a real trap that I have to be careful of for myself is getting into this state of overwhelm and, oh my gosh, there's still so much to do, so much to do, so much to do. And it's because I take on a lot. I take on, and I have a team, and we all take on a lot. And I think when you're up to big things in life, that will just be how it goes. There's always going to be a lot to do. And I think more and more as you get older, the years go faster. The years tend to just fly by, right? And so having a place of peace within yourself, that you've done the best you can for that day, and also having time for you and not feeling guilty about going for a beach walk or going to the gym, or not feeling guilty about that, but actually making time for you. And so something that I've done lately, when I go to the gym and I go and do yoga, or I'll have a sauna, I'll say, this is me time now. This is completely me time, where I am looking after my body, right? And as much as I love my work, I'm very passionate about it, I also love getting away from the computer sometimes and just going and doing yoga, and or going having a sauna, or going to the beach, or whatever it is, connecting with nature.
Remember that nature is in you. There are 5 elements that are metaphoric states of change, and you've got them in you in different percentages. They're all different for all of us. But they mirror the elements in real life, in energy and natural flow. So what you're saying is quite correct, right? It's the very fact that you do that allows you to reconnect. Because the reason we get stressed and we go out of flow is because we are trying to be what we think we have to be.
Boy, do I resonate with that.
Yeah. What if you stopped? What if you, and this is the beauty of the natal genius, you can find out, I can tell you categorically the mix of your energies inside you and what it means for you. Now, for most people, that's a complete mind-blowing experience, because all of a sudden there's a whole load goes off their shoulders. I can discard all those things. I don't mind. They're not mine. I learned that. Dad said this. This is me. And then it allows you to say, well, okay, I don't want to do the X, Y, Z anymore. I can give it to somebody else because it's not mine. I'm never going to do it well. I'm always going to stress over it. I'm always going to wish I hadn't have to do this today. So you're discarding that which you don't need. And it's a powerful, powerful thing. And understand that, like the energy flow is tabulated. It's happening all the time. So I always look this way. Think of this. I don't have time, but I can tell you about my train. Right, this is what makes sense, because I get so frustrated when people talk about things like law of attraction and all those sort of things. They're very popular terms, but let's look at it a slightly different way. Okay, let's imagine you've got a train. This train is going to go from platform to platform, from the start of its journey to its end. Now, I want to get to point whatever. So I'm going to go to one of the stations and I'm going to get on that train. All right? Here's the thing. I've got to match my timing, my intention, etc., to be there on time. Will the train wait for me? No. The train won't wait for me. It'll go on. So if I don't get there on the time to match the energy around me, for example, in other words, I'm not there in time to go on that train, the train will move on. I've missed my opportunity. And the train will do that everywhere, because the train doesn't care. The train is just a metaphor for the flow of energy in this world. It doesn't care about people. You can ask it all your life, please, Mr. Universe, do it for me. It's never going to happen. But when you say, Mr. Me, can I do something to match what's around me? Suddenly, I become very good at doing everything, because I'm now synchronizing myself with what the world is doing. And it might sound a bit sort of out there, but it's actually very true. And even right this day in Singapore is a good example. Business people actually use those sort of concepts for their business planning year by year. What can I expect is going to happen for my business? What will be going on? What do I need to do to make sure I stay in alignment with what's happening around me? So when things happen, I'm not caught short. I'm not stressed, because I made a conscious decision I can't change it, but I can accommodate. I can make myself available to it, and I can make changes I need to. Cures and remedies allow me to actually, be in a situation and get by, because I've got the awareness and I've got the ability to say, I can do this, and I'll do it how I need to do it.
Yes, life will throw curveballs all the time, is what I've discovered. And it's being able to ebb and flow with whatever life kind of throws at us or for us, or, everything happens for us, they say, not to us. And we can't fill from an empty cup. So it's so important to nurture yourself and to do what feels right for you in the moment without feeling guilty about making time for you, you know. And I know there's a lot of people pleasers out there, and I actually put a little graphic up on my socials about people pleasing recently, which actually, you know, shows how people pleasers are on the outside, and yet often they're filling a void on the inside of not feeling good enough in some way. And I know I've certainly been like this myself. I've you know, we were always brought up to you know, be generous and to do what we can for other people, and then often the trap of that can be you're not doing enough for yourself. You're not learning to say no, having strong boundaries sometimes, and not feeling guilty about saying no sometimes when people ask you for things, because whenever someone asks you for something, that's their to-do list. It's not your to-do list, right? So really, you know, being good at that.
And it's taking you away from your natal genius. You're doing things to please other people. Okay. Now you mentioned Earth. You mentioned people pleasers. Primarily, they connect very strongly to Earth energy, which is a very nurturing, compassionate energy. And guess what? They are so busy pleasing people and doing what they think they need to do to make that other person happy, is that they keep on giving and giving, and they're going to come to a blowout point where they say, but what about me? Why doesn't anyone care about me?
Yes. Yes.
I think this works too in a different aspect. So here's the way I think I've recently discovered this, because I do tend to be a people pleaser. I have that kind of energy. I want to serve. I want to please, you know. But here's one way I've seen that that's recently showed up in my life, in not necessarily a good way. So the last mentor I had, I'm sure that he was doing the best he could with me. And I'm sure that, you know, he was giving me all the recommendations that he really thought, you know, were the proper things. The thing of it is I kept putting out the sort of content that he wanted me to put out over and over and over again. And then he would look at it, he would critique it. He's like, no, you know, you need to be more specific here. You need to be this way here. You need to be this way, you know, and all this other stuff. And while I think that works very well for the industry that he's a part of and to who he markets to, it works really well for him. And I see the evidence of it working really well for him. So he is very successful in what he does. But in my particular angle and what I want to do with people, I have learned the hard way that is not necessarily going to work. Because what I eventually found myself doing is I found myself taking a 2-week break from putting out anything, stepping back and recentering myself in the sense of realizing that what I've been doing as far as content and stuff that I've been putting out there on social media, mainly Facebook, the way I've been putting it out has been more energy draining than energy giving for me. And it's gotten to the point to where I think for just a very short period of time, I began losing the fire and passion that I have for my approach. And that's why I had to take a step back, because I just hit this wall of reality that said, you're putting this stuff out here to please your mentor, but you don't even like putting out what you're putting out right now. You don't have a passion about it. And that's what I had to come to realize. And once I realized that, I was like, all right, it's time to kind of revamp things and redo my approach. So I parted ways with this mentor. And now what's interesting enough is last Friday, I put out a post. It had the angle that I like. It had the language that I have a passion about using. It had my approach on what I love to approach things as. It had it all. And interesting enough, I got a ton of responses on that post. Most of the time when I put out posts on Facebook, most of the time, 8 to 9 times out of 10, I might get 1 or 2 likes. I got comments galore all over this post. And that spoke a very loud and clear message to me. And that was, I must do it my way, in a sense. What is me? What resonates with me? The posts that I was putting out there, how I would angle them and everything else were exactly what my mentor wanted me to put out. Did I like it? No, I did not. And that was something else I came to realize. I was just like, work is feeling like work. It's not feeling like something I enjoy anymore. And again, that's why I had to take the 2 weeks to step back and to really look at it. Just to give you, just to give you an example of kind of the personality I have. So I've already shared a little bit about it in the beginning of this, but this is just a snippet from my post. So this is talking about sugar. So there's this section in the post where I talk about, okay, here's some more food for thought around sugar. Sugar in babies' brains is called ADHD. Sugar in adult brain is called dementia or Alzheimer's. Sugar in your eyes is called glaucoma. Sugar in your teeth is called cavities. Sugar in your skin is called aging. Sugar in your sleep is called insomnia. Sugar in your blood is called diabetes. Excess sugar in your system is called cancer. Sugar on Wall Street is called $1 billion industry. Addiction to sugar is 8 times more powerful than cocaine. Know who the real enemy is. Honestly, the food companies are not out there for your best interest. They are out there to fill their pockets, and it's at the expense of our health. So you can hear the language, and you can hear by even as I'm reading that, I got into it. That's my passion. That's my angle. It may not be hooky, catchy like it's supposed to be, or have all the sweet, nice words like it's supposed to be, according to like mentors and people out there that are experts. But what I have found is that is a piece I enjoyed putting out because that's my language and that's what I'm passionate about. So in aspect of what you were saying, that's what I had to realize. There's got to be a line that's drawn where I'm putting stuff out there that I'm passionate about, not stuff that my mentor wants me to put. And then I'm putting the stuff he wants me to put out there. I'm only putting that out to please him. That's not good either, because then I started asking myself the question, am I showing up today for my business, for me, or am I showing up for my mentor?
And it's perfectly put. And the thing is, you drew a line in the sand and said no more. But how many people don't get that far? They keep on doing it till they get completely stressed out or broken. And then they say, well, I hate my world. But you didn't do anything about it. So you've done the very thing. I mean, if I had $1 for every person said to me, I love what you're doing, but I'm okay, I wouldn't have to do anything else. I'd be rich. Because I'm okay. I don't need help. I'm fine. Now, show me a person who hasn't got something that could work on this world, and I'll show you a liar. If they say that, because I know for a fact every one of us can do something to make ourselves better. A lot of people are in that situation because they like it. I'm sorry if that offends people, but they don't like it. They like to feel the pain. They like to feel the stress because it makes them feel like they're justified in what they do. And they want people to be sorry for them. They want them to feel like, poor thing, can I help? I'd rather say to people, black and white, get off your backside and do something for yourself.
People are addicted to drama. People are absolutely addicted to drama. And I would say most people, and we know the number one regret of the dying is living a life not true to yourself. Exactly what Ken was saying. People doing things to please others, people doing things so they think that's what they should be doing, instead of doing what really lights you up. What really lights you up? Why are you here on the planet? What's your purpose? And
we're chasing food, we're chasing money, reputation, fame, comfort. Show me the person who took it with them when they go. They don't exist. So you're right, Aldwyn. Yeah, do what you want to do, or it makes you feel good, and obviously don't hurt other people doing it, but do what's good for you, because you're the only person you have to be accountable to.
Yeah, exactly.
Doing
it that way, it might take me a little longer than what I want, but at least I know the stuff that I'm putting out there and the language that I'm using with it. It's me.
But it's also, it was the amount of time taken that you needed to take. You couldn't have done it any other way because it wouldn't have been you, it wouldn't have worked for you.
Yeah.
So therefore, you haven't taken too long. You've taken the exact amount of time that you needed.
To learn the lesson.
Yeah, but you can't learn a lesson until you want to learn.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, and some people work faster, some people work slower. And I love your sugar post, Ken. I thought that sugar post was absolute gold. Sugar is like the number one enemy out there of health, and yet it's been so celebrated with Christmas and Easter and all the like and birthdays. If you think of birthdays, cake, right? I mean, it's all sugar. It's crazy, and yet it's become so accepted, and it's become even craved by a lot of people. They crave it, and let's not go into soft drinks. How much sugar's in soft drinks? Oh my gosh! Let's not go down that. But just getting conscious to this stuff makes a massive difference.
Yeah, it's not even just sugar; it's so refined. It's so refined. It's not even got its original value. So even basic sugars have a purpose to a level and for a reason, but the refined sugar and the amount of it, as you say, it's just anyway, it's what human life is, isn't it?
Yeah, and it tastes good. That's the thing. I love chocolate. It tastes good, right? But we've got to be careful. Like dark chocolate, maybe there's healthier alternatives if you're going to have.
Dark chocolate is good for you, yeah.
There's healthier alternatives, and do I just not consume sugar at all? No, I still consume sugar. I have my guilty pleasures. One of them's barbecue sauce. Love my barbecue sauce. That's my guilty pleasure. But if all areas of my life I'm paying attention to these things, can I still have my barbecue sauce? Yes. Does it affect me? Not as much. No, because I have a baseline of all these other things that I'm doing correctly. That's another thing that I'll often say, when I'm doing a video or putting out content. One thing you will never hear out of my mouth, or very rarely, is these words: you can never have that again. Because I don't believe that's true. That's not sustainable either.
No. Red rag to a bull. Say that to a kid and see what happens.
Yeah.
For example, but yeah. Sorry.
I heard the other day that Barocca has aspartame in it. I haven't had a close look at Barocca, but there's these ads going, Barocca gives you back the BB bounce. People think Baroccas are really healthy, but apparently they have aspartame, which is really, really bad for you. And
aspartame.
Equal sugar. Aspartame. Yeah, well, that's how you'd say it in America. Aspartame.
That's how we say it, yeah. Every time I hear you say it, I'm like, wait, what? And then I realize, I know what she's talking about.
Yeah, so just look at the ingredients closely. My gosh, and often the ingredients are disguised. Like vegetable oil. Okay, let's not go down there. Ken's got a whole episode on vegetable oils.
Vegetable oils. Yeah, there are certain fats and certain oils, and the rest you leave alone. But the other day, I know Marie went. She had a cold sore came up out of the blue. She went to the chemist. This is a true story, and she wanted some lysine cream because lysine is very good for this particular process. And the cream that said, I'm lysine cream, she looked at the ingredients, and there was no lysine. There were fillers, nothing but fillers. So she went to the person behind the desk and says, what's this? Oh, it's lysine cream. Is it lysine? Oh, I don't know. Oh, so she went back, found a more expensive product, and then said lysine. And she took a look at the difference, she said, and the girl says, I don't know what lysine is. And I'm thinking, but you're the chemist, you should know. So the average person says, oh, there it is, that's cream for my it's got lysine, it'll fix my problem. But it's not there to start with. For example, why would you buy something like that?
Well, let me tell you why they buy stuff like that. It's the marketing. It's the way they're marketed to, and it's the deception that they use. Aldwyn, if you'll entertain me just for a minute here, I'm going to share my screen and give you an example on how this marketing works just real quickly. So if I can find, here we go. This is what I want.
All right, here we are. We're going to bring that up on the screen.
Yeah. Can you see that? The Kraft mayo?
Yes, here we go. Coming up. Yes.
Okay. So I want you to take a look at this is what people are buying into. This is the marketing that they're selling people out there. And so mayo made with what? Avocado oil. That's a good oil, right? So, they make it look all nice on the front. You got the avocados there. Oh, look, it's even made with cage-free eggs and all this other stuff, right? This is the marketing. They're relying on a busy mom that's out there. Maybe she's got her kids with her. The kids are driving her crazy. She wants to get home out of the grocery store quickly. She sees this, sees it as an healthy option, pops it in her cart. Off she goes, right? This is the typical American. Guess what? Let's see how deceiving this label really is. Look at this. So yes, first ingredient, avocado oil. What else does it have? Canola oil, soybean oil. You see how they're getting you? Look at it. You see how they're getting you, guys? This is what I'm talking about. Building an awareness around this stuff and really looking at what's in this stuff. So anyhow, stop sharing my screen. And there you go.
Yeah.
And that's, again, like I said, the busy mum who doesn't have time, or, dare I say, the uneducated adult who doesn't know what to check. There's too much trouble to check. I just because it tastes good. No, I don't care. And I've heard that same comment from people. Look, I'm going to die anyway, so I don't really care. I'm thinking, well, okay. Good on you. Off you go. It's your business.
People like that, I swear, I just want to go.
Yeah, but they exist everywhere. They exist everywhere because it's just convenient. It's just easy, you know?
Yeah. And the number of people, smokers I know that have died between the age of 60 and 63, quite a few smokers seem to go around that age, which is really interesting. And in fact, a third of people die by the age of 65. 1/3 of the population. And so really, you know, that goes just like that, you know. In fact, a doctor said to me years ago when I did smoke, he said, oh, well, you might live 10 years less, but if you enjoy it, do it. You know, that was the doctor's advice to me. If you enjoy it, do it. You might just cut 10 years off your life. But hey, you know, a lot of people are not happy with their lives anyway. You know, a lot of people want to cut 10 years off. They don't appreciate the miracle of life that they are for a lot of people, right? And they just want to whinge all day, you know, and that's where having a great environment of people around you is really important to living well and actually staying strong and resilient in the face of whatever is in your environment, because a lot of things we actually can't control as well. And for me, personal development has been a major thing to help me stay on track with what I do. I'm constantly going to courses and hanging out with people who are up to big things in life. And I know that you guys both do that as well. You both really be on education, which I think is crucial, because we never learn less, right? We never learn less. And those who think they know it all, well, you know, good luck with that.
They're gone. Education is empowerment. Remember, education is empowerment. Simple as that.
Yes, yes. And they say leaders are readers. But, you know, there's audiobooks now. It makes it very easy to read, right?
Yeah, I still like reading books. I still like to read.
Yeah, yeah. But, yeah, education definitely leads to wisdom. And this is where, you know, what our show's about too is question everything. Do your own research, do your own education. Don't just believe what we say. We're planting seeds here in this show. We planted quite a few seeds in this show. And now your job, if you choose to take this on, is actually to do your own research for yourself. We don't care if you do it for, you know, it doesn't affect us whether you live a shorter life or not. It's your life. It's your life. How do you want to live your life? You know, and that's the question to ask. How do you want to live your life? How does living well really matter to you, or do you just want to have a crap life? Like 80% of people want to have a crap life because that's how they choose to live. And they go, oh, you know, they're always the victim of everything. Oh, this happens, that happens. Whinge. You know, it's very easy to whinge. To get into a practice of gratitude, that takes practice. It takes practice. And this is why 80% of people live very negative lives, because they've been conditioned that way. They watch way too much television. They believe what they hear in the media, right? And we know there's media programming, and those that are awake to it and those that are, you know, are actually questioning things, they're the more empowered ones out there now, because they are actually taking control of their life, and they're not living at the, you know, the mercy of the dramas that are happening out there, and they don't let it affect them. And this is where, you know, checking in with yourself, checking in with your own energy, and doing the work, because we are 99.9% energy, frequency, vibration. And when I saw Dr. Hawkins' scale of consciousness, when I got clear on this energetic, the Dr. Hawkins scale of consciousness, when we feel certain emotions, we're vibrating at different frequencies. We have the Conscious Community Global Facebook group. We have this chart in there. So just getting conscious to where are you vibrating at right now. If you're in shame around anything, you're at 20 hertz. Love is 540 hertz and above, right? Love, gratitude, joy, peace, enlightenment. These are the highest vibrations. This is when you're going to have the greatest experience of life. And yes, we're going to go up and down this journey. Of course, we're going to go up and down. How long you choose to stay in the pit is up to you. And can you turn your pit into your purpose? Which really the sooner we learn to do that, because I do believe everything happens for us, the sooner we can come back up that roller coaster ride of life and go, okay, so this drama happened so that I can have this, or so that I can now. And for a lot of people, why you do what you do is because you've had some kind of pit, you've had some kind of challenge around what it is that you teach and you serve people with now, is because you've personally experienced some kind of challenge in that.
Absolutely. Yep, totally agree. This is the whole thing. I love yourself doesn't mean pretend. It means know yourself, which is a different meaning altogether. Know yourself. Don't love yourself. Know yourself, and know your worth.
Know thyself.
Yeah.
Yes. Know thyself. I love that. We've been chatting for nearly 90 minutes. Can you believe it? We just chat like that. It goes like that. So we will start wrapping up. So Jeff, for those who want to work with you, how can they go about doing that?
Well, the easiest way at the moment is probably through our Facebook groups that we've got. I've got a couple they can access straight away there. And keep an eye out. We have a brand new website coming in the next few weeks, which is going to be absolutely beautiful. I'm looking forward to it. But in the short term, I'd love to talk to anybody. Get in touch with me through there. I'm always up for a chat. To me, the more people I can talk to and help refocus, then the more I've enjoyed myself. I'm very selfish that way. I gain a lot out of seeing someone go forward.
I love it, Jeff. And your links there for those that are tuning in on the audio, it's facebook.com/9, that's the number 9, pillar, PILLAR, lifestyle, LIFESTYLE. That's the first link, facebook.com/9 pillar lifestyle. And the next one is on LinkedIn, linkedin.com/IN/Jeff Withers, which is spelled JEFFWITHERS. Thank you so much, Jeff. And we'll come back to you with your favorite quote or motto for the day. In the meantime, let's have a chat with Ken about how people can connect with you, Ken.
Before I dive into that, there's one more thing. It escaped me at the time, right after you were talking about your stuff. I had the thought and then I lost it by the time you finished it. So I ended up staying silent, but I've got it back. When you guys are doing research out there online and you're looking up stuff, I would encourage you steer clear of anything that has to do with Google or any of the other mainstream search engines. And I would also say that includes DuckDuckGo. I've heard stuff about DuckDuckGo. It's not necessarily the search engine you think it is. Look for the search engines that are a little bit more off the beaten path. Get yourself maybe a list of 5 or 7 different search engines that you can go through and do your searches on. That's number 1. Number 2, when you're looking up this stuff on any search engine, find what the mainstream sites are saying and bypass them. Keep going with your search until you start finding the private websites, till you start finding the more private persons, the people that have their own domain name, URL, and stuff like that. These are the people now that you want to start looking at. Doesn't necessarily mean that every person out there is right in line. You know, some of these people with their own domain have bought into the mainstream propaganda crap. All right, so. But this is just to give you some beginnings on how you begin to start finding the alternate sources, alternate people around health and fitness. Now, around the geopolitical aspect of things, turn off the news altogether. Go with alternative sources that aren't afraid to share different views. And start looking at that stuff, because I think when you start looking at that stuff, you're going to start asking yourself some interesting questions. Lastly, that I'm going to say here around Google, and actually enough around fake meat. So we've also touched a little bit about vegetarians and the importance of that to some people. Here's one thing I want to speak to with that as well. Do not, and I think there's a lot of people out there that are not buying into this, and I'm grateful for that. But do not buy into this concept of this fake meat they're trying to sell on the market and push out there in front of us. This Beyond Burger, this Beyond Meat, Impossible Foods, all this other stuff. Don't buy into that. That stuff is made. Oh my gosh, I've done research on it, and the way that stuff is made, it is so incredibly horrible for you. It's unbelievable. One other thing I will say, this fake meat industry, here are the two co-founders, and you tell me whether you have a problem with this. Two of the co-founders of this fake meat industry. One is Bill Gates. The other one is Google. Now, if you're like me, I don't trust Google. I don't like Google. But in some aspects, they're a necessary evil. But you tell me what that tells you about that fake meat industry. Just be careful, you guys. All right, now on to my connections. So how you can connect with me is through my link tree, and that is linktr.ee/FatFighterKen. And once you get there, the first top 3 links are the 3 most important. There's going to be a link in there to join my Facebook group. There's a lot of great stuff that I put in there. Second one, there's a link in there to book a calendar appointment with me. Book an appointment with me. I would love to talk with you. I'd love to find out where you are in your health and weight loss goals, where you are with all that, and see if I can point you in the right direction. I don't bite. Will I discuss my prices? Yes. Will I pressure you? Not necessarily, no. I don't do the high pressure sales thing. It's so overrated, and I'm getting so tired of my inbox is full. My messenger inbox is full of people who accept my friend requests, and then guess what's the first thing that they do? I'm done with that. So I don't bite. I would just like to see if I could point you in the right direction and help you. Third link or third thing inside my link tree is my website. There's a link to my website in there, and you can go on my website. You can find out all there is to know about me. You can check out my free masterclass I have on there. There's my podcast on there. All of that's on there. So that is how you can connect with me the best.
Beautiful. Thank you, Ken. And what's your favorite quote or motto you'd like to share today with us?
Treat, you know what, and I think this is proper for this episode. Treat the word impossible as nothing more than motivation, by Donald J. Trump.
Love it. Thank you so much, Ken. And Jeff, do you have a favorite quote or motto that you live by that you'd like to share?
I've got too many. But one I've just been saying later, I just because you made me start thinking. We said that, what's a good quote to leave people with? But something that I think makes sense to me is, I have to read this, it says, seek what you desire, accept what you receive, anticipate what awaits you, but employ as you choose.
Love that. Very cool. Very cool. Thank you, Jeff. That is awesome. And I just want to acknowledge people who have made some comments here earlier. We had Rajesh here on YouTube. Rajesh Agarwal Frisa. He says, things to you, Aldwyn, for caring. One love. One love. Yes, one love. I love that, Rajesh. Thank you so much. Thanks for the love. Really appreciate that. We've got one of our favorite guys here, Ken Dunner, on LinkedIn. He says, better late than never, peeps. Savor the flavor of the awesomeness in you, peeps, for sharing your delectable nuggets of wisdom, kindness, goodness with us tonight. Thank you so much, Ken. Of course, nighttime over in America and daytime over here. And Ken also said, when we're talking about diets, he said, are not so delectable, scrumptiously, deliciously, edibly tasty good. They are not so. That's right. Diets are not so. Thank you, Ken. And he says, you three peeps are such gems of human beings who share your goodness with others for the betterment of humankind. Thank you so much, Ken. We love that. We love all your beautiful words. And, you know, the power of words when it comes to well-being as well. Notice the words that you say to yourself, my friends. What do you say to yourself when you look at yourself in the mirror? What do you say to yourself when you're struggling with your computer and having tech issues? What do you say to yourself when you're out and about, or you're looking at yourself naked? What do you say to yourself? Just notice the conversations. Notice the conversations so you can shift it, because there's 3 steps to healing. 1 is awareness, the 2nd is acceptance, and the 3rd is appreciation. So the sooner we can get to appreciation with everything in life, the better life that we will have. Now, for those who want to connect with me, you can do so at my link tree as well. And that is linktr.ee/Aldwyn. And that's spelled ALDWYN. So linktree/Aldwyn's got all my links. We have upcoming events, challenges. We have the Global Good News Challenge happening every month, where you can practice sharing your good news and sharing gratitude. Just such a powerful way to lift your energy and lift your mental state. We know that 1 in 3 people have depression out there. This is a great way, when you get into gratitude, to actually shift your mental state and to have a greater experience of life. Because as much as there's always something that you can whinge about, there's also always something that you can be grateful for, right? It's the yin yang of life. And it's all about, do you choose to look at the darkness in life or choose to look at the light? And there's always blessings in all challenges. There's always breakthroughs at the end of every single breakdown. Now, we also have, for those on the Gold Coast, we have the Animal Action Day for Aussie Wildlife coming up. We have 5 performers, 3 speakers already lined up. The promo is going out in the next week. We're doing a fundraiser for a beautiful charity called Aussie Wildlife. And we're looking for more raffle prizes if you want to support that. And all the money goes to this amazing charity, which takes in a lot of injured birds on the Gold Coast, swans, owls, magpies, doing an amazing job in Nerang on the Gold Coast. So that's an amazing day we've got coming up November 19 at Mermaid Waters Hotel. So stay tuned for that. Animal Action Events Facebook page will have all the updates there, which is also in my link tree. And do stay connected across all the socials. Wherever you are, connect on the socials there. And subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already, Aldwyn Altuney Media Queen TV. Subscribe to that if you haven't already. And remember to like our Total Truth show too as well. Look for the logo on Facebook and connect with us there. We've got, this is a 43rd episode now we've been doing, and Ken and I met through COVID on an online networking event. And in fact, Jeff and I are both involved with BX networking as well. And online networking is a great way to stay connected with awesome people as well. And here we have someone on Facebook. You always have a choice on how to react, be it positive or negative. Absolutely. And thank you, Facebook user. We can't see your name there. Please let us know who you are. Facebook user. Absolutely. It's always a choice, right? It's the choice in every moment. And my quote that I'll leave you with today is a Margaret Mead quote. And it's, a small group of thoughtful people can change the world. In fact, it's the only thing that ever has. Right. And you are one of the small group of thoughtful people, my friends, and it's important to do what we can to impact change. And the ripple effect of taking action in a positive way will impact your families, it'll impact your community at large, and it'll impact the way you do life and how well you live, which is what this is all about. It was your friend and me, Ross Kay. Hey, Ross, good to see you. Good old Ross here with us. Excellent. Thanks for joining us. Now, Ken and Jeff, before we close the live stream today, any final words from either of you?
Oh. Man.
Any final words?
My final words is, live as close to who you were born to be, and you will live longer, happier, and healthily.
And I will say, embrace the journey.
Mm.
Embracing is the key. But here's the key about embracing the journey. It is not only embracing the high moments, which are easy to do, but embracing the low and challenging moments. Because it is in those moments of embracing those moments, you get to learn, grow, get better, get wiser, and get stronger. That implies in both life and your weight loss journey. It's about embracing and expecting, keyword there, expecting those challenges to show up. And then you get to, another keyword, get to use those challenges to get better.
I think too, I'd like to add, if I can, Ken, because I love what you're saying there, is that to get to, it's a journey. So a journey is a start and it has a destination. When you get to the destination, it's nothing more than a start again, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why in the back, you guys can't see it because it's cut off on my screen. I have a sign back here. It says, mastery is not a destination. It's a decision.
Completely agree. Yep.
Love it, love it. And I think all roads lead to Rome. And I always say, let's come back to love, right? Loving self, loving others, everything comes back to self-love, I believe. And when you truly love yourself, you will live well. You will put good food in your body, like we put good fuel in our car. We will put good food in our body. We will live in ways that we have passion and love for what we do. And the more that you can live from love, the better experience of life you will have, and the better you will live as well. So sending you all lots of love today. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Jeff, for being our special guest. It was an amazing show today. Ken, my amazing co-host, thank you so much. Stay tuned for more amazing episodes. And for those watching, let us know what you thought of this show in the chat. What did you get out of this? What is something maybe you're going to take on and take some action in your own life from what we've shared today? Even if it's one thing you got from this show, what's something you can do to ensure that you live well and that you have your best experience of life and enjoy the journey that we're on? Let us know and share the love if you've enjoyed it as well. Look forward to connecting with you again soon. Have a most magnificent day or night wherever you are in the world. We'll see you again next time. Thanks so much, and bye for now. Bye.